Of course, since it's a Friday, I will start with the fact that you need to enjoy your life when it is a weekend, especially after you've worked very, very hard. It is end of month, so I believe some salaries are coming in. So Protea Hotel by Marriott is the place to be in case you are looking for where to spend some good quality time with your loved ones. Now, they have a fully fledged kitchen. They have a health club. I'm talking about gym and swimming, as well as sleeping in case you want to spend the night. They have very beautifully decorated rooms for you and your loved one to spend, of course, your quality time. My name is Carola. Welcome to the show. Today, issues at hand, we are looking at some of the issues that we as a community go through. I'm talking about economically, spiritually, socially, financially, as well as communally in general. And of course, every Friday we do have a police officer from the Uganda Police Force, and we discuss matters security in general. Of course, I have a guest in studio, but before I introduce him to you, I'd like to let you know that this week has been a very, very busy week when it comes to, of course, the security forces as a whole. We remember that 11 bodies of the victims of Kasese were identified and, of course, handed over to their families for burial. Very, very sad and tragic moment for the country as a whole, but also for the nations apart from Uganda, because we saw very big media houses reporting about this issue, reporting about what is said to be an ADF attack on the schools in Kasese. But in general, security-wise, of course, we know that as a person, you must secure yourself first, even before the police come in. But today, let us welcome our guest, Senior Superintendent of Police. His name is Ssempala Bashir, and he is the SSP in charge community policing in Kampala Metropolitan. I'm talking about areas of Kampala, Mukono, and other areas. You're welcome to the studio. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Yeah.
You can introduce yourself and maybe a brief background on community policing. What is it? What do you do? And how do you handle the matters down there?
Okay. Thank you so much for hosting me. I'm privileged to be here. And as I've been introduced, the viewers, good morning. My name is the Senior Superintendent of Police, Bashir Ssempala. I'm in charge community policing in Kampala Metropolitan area. That is Kampala itself, district, plus Mukono and Wakiso districts. And since I'm in charge community policing is simply the bridging between the members of the public and the police. That relationship, because police cannot work in isolation, security, as you gave that preamble, begins with the common person down on the ground. From your home, the family unit, then it goes upwards. So how do you secure yourself? How do you work with the security forces within? How do you work with your neighbors? Because police itself, we are very few in number. We cannot deploy a police officer at every family level. But people can be on the ground and act as ears and the eyes of the police. And how do you link that with the security, the formal security establishment? That means that if you're on the ground, then it means that you have a responsibility as a citizen, which is also provided for in the constitutional provisions, whereby if you detect any kind of criminal crime elements, you can inform the nearest police. There is what we call neighborhood watch, each person being a watchman of the other. These days we have perimeter walls. But these perimeter walls, sometimes they can also be a source of insecurity. You can be strangled in your own perimeter wall when someone outside there cannot tell what is going on inside there.
Yes.
So that is very important. As we have our own perimeter walls, we have our CCTV cameras, we have the leather wires on our walls. We also need to have good neighborhood. That where you are not, then your neighbor can say, there is a problem at your home. I'm seeing some suspicious movements. Who is this person? There has been a breakdown in communication in many of our establishments where we stay. So people have a role to know each other. That's the first entry point. how many people know their neighbors. You may find that you cannot tell 5 neighbors to your home. In Kampala, more especially, where I do much of my work, you find that there is that kind of, some people don't know they are even LOCs. They are defense secretaries. Those are the people on the ground. So, as police, we are trying to reduce that fear from the members of the public to come and report to police. Someone said, I cannot come to police because I'll be told to write a statement. Writing a statement is something like giving what you have seen, what you have known. At times someone brings an accused person who is suspected to have committed a crime. For us at police, we call them suspects, because we do not conclude that you're a criminal. Even if you've been caught with exhibits, we regard you as a suspect at that moment until investigations reveal incriminating evidence that this person has committed an offense. That one is done through investigation. We do not conclude, because the Constitution provides for that, presumption of innocence. Someone is innocent until he has been proved guilty or he has pleaded himself guilty. So, but the members of the public, they tend to conclude this one is a criminal. So we need to have multiplier effect. If every person is conscious of security, there is timely reporting to the police. You have emergency contacts of security services, even health services. Someone can get a medical health situation which needs to be saved by taking that person to the hospital. Do you have the contact of the hospitals, ambulances, so that person can be rescued? Because security is not about thefts, muggings, pickpocketing. It's a broader aspect that looks about, are you having money in your pocket? Like working. Economic safety. Someone has the what to eat. Because when there is poverty in the community, that's why the government has come up with programs to put people out of poverty.
Yes.
Because they need them to be, when everybody has what to eat, I think some of the crimes can be avoided. Some people get to commit crimes because they won't survive. So we need to look at a broader perspective, have security committees right from the village level up to the district level. For us police, we have them. LOCs, LOC 3, LOC 5, and we have the chairman of the district security committee, who is the RDC. Where the DPC sits, we have the DISO, the ISO, and everything, all the security units. So once you have that kind of leakage between the security teams and the members of the public, then you find that response and crime management becomes effective. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Let's start with, since we're looking at security awareness in general, maybe let me start with a group of people that is constantly, I don't know how to call it, but it's constantly put on pressure. I'm talking about the borders, especially in Kampala Metropolitan as a center. I see police officers treating these people with some kind of, even the borders now are scared of the police. They say, I can't ride to that side because police will curb me. Why are they being put in the spotlight by police? Why are they being curbed day and night?
As you are aware, borders are our quickest means of transport.
Yes.
We use them. I walked because I came from Inia, but if I was going a little bit of a distance, I would have used a border. However, we need safety first. We need to secure ourselves. We, the people, passengers who use borders, then the borders themselves. Most of the border riders, you find they don't have the qualifications. They don't have riding licenses. They are never trained. They violate the traffic rules on the road. You go outside there, where their traffic lights stand there. You see that when it flashes red, the borders continue to move. Then it puts their lives and the lives of the passengers to risk. Go down to Mulago Hospital in the casualty ward. You find very many victims of borders. Incidentally, I don't have the statistics of how many died last year. Next time if I come, I will carry those statistics so that you can see the number of people who have died due to border, reckless riding, accidents is more than the one of the vehicles. Why? So police has made it deliberately. We have been carrying out operations to enforce discipline among the border riders, where you have helmets. Those are safety tips. To ride the border, at least you must have an helmet to protect your head.
Yes.
Even the one of the passenger. You must put on boots, not knee guinar. These are all safety guards. In every industry, even here, I think you should be having safety precautions.
We do.
That when you are place of work, if you are at a building site, there are safety precautions. You are supposed to dress like this, you are supposed to put on this, you are supposed to do this, so that in case of any accident, you are protected. But these are the people who do not observe those security precautions. So we've tried our best to see that we carry out operations, they comply, they get riding permits. We have been training them as police, because some of the driving schools we have mainly have concentrated in training drivers of cars. But border trainings are limited. We don't have trainers, qualified trainers for that. Someone just learns a little bit, goes on the road. The next day he has got an accident. Because this is a machine. So we are doing these operations for purposes of protecting the members of the public who use these border means of transport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We can move to mass gatherings or masses in general. There we have schools, protection of schools. We have people who gather to pray, as well as concerts and other things.
Yes.
What are the guidelines that mass gatherings should look at, just before we look at the Kasese incident?
As you are aware, globally, we have terrorism threats. And terrorists always target masses where people gather. Leave alone concerts. You go downtown here to Owino Market, Chikubo, all these places around Kampala. There are a lot of masses down there. So what are we supposed to do as the managers of these places, even these buildings? You are supposed to take precautions in terms of access control. Someone should not just come and enter. I was impressed when I was entering here. I was checked 3 times, and I was registering 3 times. Reach here at this level, register here. And I could not violate because this is what I want. Actually, if I was not checked, I would feel I'm insecure in this building. I could easily enter with a terrorist and he blows the building down when I'm here. But I saw there is security precautions. That is one of the way we can control or we can guard against terrorism. When a terrorist sees a gap, especially where the number, for them they always tend to have maximum impact in terms of causing damage. But when you put precautions, you saw what happens at CPS. Was it last year? A terrorist came, he could not pass via the security checkpoint, so he blew himself from there.
Oh.
We lost some officers. The whole of Kochi building and CPS police station, the glasses broke. People died.
Yeah.
Even the other side of parliament. So you rather lose one other than losing thousands of people. in Owino. So we are telling people, let us have those security checks. If someone is coming in this building, and all these arcades, this is what we are telling them. They should have checkpoints, both physical. You can use a machine, but the machine is not the most efficient equipment to check. We always tell the people that the most instrumental equipment is your eye. What you see. You touch the person, you check, you feel. It is better than saying, go through here. We have so many meters on our what? Sound. You check, you must confirm who is entering here. Then the other thing is we must have like, this one is a building, but like schools, for example, fencing. Not everybody should come and enter from every direction of the structure. Fencing is very good, so that you have an entrance point where you can control who enters. You can register in the book. For example, what happened the other day at Raja Chambers, there was a security lapse. This officer should not have entered. I came with a bodyguard. I told him remain here, because there were other security, private security officers down there. I told them, let this officer be with you here. So that when I'm entering, if I have my small weapon, I should be able to deposit it somewhere. You cannot know the person's intention who enters here. Maybe he's coming for a manager, maybe he's coming for what. So you need to have a security guard that when a police officer or anybody in the forces comes and is armed, he can leave his weapon there, controlled. Then whoever has entered is a safe person, not carrying anybody whom you don't know. But some borders, you just get a passenger, he's carrying a luggage, I'm going to CPS, you put him. You should have an extra sense to know what is he carrying, who are you. I remember during COVID, the president would say, let everybody register however you carry. People laughed it off. But security-wise, that should be the practice. But we are too lazy to see that we implement some of these small tips for our own safety. We only want to act once there is danger. When there is no danger, we take life easy. There is no problem. But me, I want to urge members of the public, let us take our safety first. Even us in the forces, when you are going for protection of others, yourself must be protected. You must be protected. I cannot protect you when I'm not safe. That's why when you are going for like crowd control and riot, we have what we put on our bodies. The head is covered. You remember we lost a police officer down here some years back in a riot. Someone threw a brick from the building up, hit the head, and he died. So we protect ourselves, we put on shields, we put on body armors. All those ones are for protection purposes. So that I do not protect you and I lose my life. I am safe and you are also safe. So crowds, you said about events, for example, we have shows in Lugogo. We always deploy all forces. Counter-terrorism is there. We put access control. We put patrollers. All those security layers we put are intended to protect people who are going to celebrate. Otherwise, you can have the 2010 scenario. I don't know where you are, 2010.
I was there.
People died in Lugogo.
In Lugogo as well.
Others in Kabalagala, Chadondo. So, that was because when people are happening, we need to happen when we are sure of our safety. Actually, if you go in a place and you see laxity in accessing that place, to me, I withdraw.
It's a plus.
And you don't see any restriction. You just come and enter. I just go away from that place.
Some of those places are there in Kampala, buildings where you can enter with such a bag, a big bag. And
nobody has checked it. That is now, this is the program we are on. We are telling all the owners of buildings, let us have control. Currently we have a terror threat, for example. someone will look for a gap where there is laxity to come and strike there. But when he sees that there is some kind of checking, I'm told, according to intelligence, the terror person who blew this place, Rugogo, Chadon, he first tried Nachivubo. Nachivubo, there was some kind of strictness. Said that, I can't pass here. Let me go there. They kept moving because it was World Cup finals. Yeah. There were so many places with the what? Until when he looked, he reached a place where there was no checking. He entered, put his bags there. So you should be suspicious of every object. Every object. It can be a phone. If it does not belong to you, then that phone can be used as a device, as an explosive device. Anything can be an explosive device. So we tell people, don't tamper with any kind of item which you have not placed there. Luggage. Because some of these luggages are used as explosives. Even a car. Someone will bring a car and leave it at the veranda of this building and moves away. You are not aware who is this person. All those ones must be put into consideration. You don't take anything for granted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we move to the Kasese and get your view about it, maybe we'll go for a very short break. But remember that Defense Minister Honorable Vincent Ssempala just said in Parliament that the security response was immediate and MPs, especially the area MP of Kasese, her name is Florence Kabugo, objected and said no. Objected and said no, these security forces took their time because there was a student who even escaped from the Kasese school and ran to inform the forces, and apparently they delayed their action. And of course the victims have been buried and stuff, but as a country we are still mourning them and stuff. And I want to get your view of the security-wise of the whole incident in Kasese before we get to a short break.
Kasese incident, I want to send my condolences because I'm also a parent to the parents of those children, the school management, for that incident that happened. It was very unfortunate, and really we condemn the perpetrators in the highest terms because I don't know the circumstances, how long it took for the security to respond. Because Kasese, as you know, it's a border district with Congo. We have security establishments, and they have responded. You know, a rebel is always a rebel. They always have their own tactics. And these are human beings like us. Sometimes they come into us. That's why we had bombs down here in Arua Park in 1998, around that time. People would come and place bombs everywhere. But where were these people coming from? Were they coming from Congo, or they were coming from Namasua here? This is what we are telling people. Consciousness. If they reported on time, police and the army responded. And I think there are some good results. It's unfortunate that we lost that big number. I don't know how many kilometers are from the school to the first security establishment. But also, the first security establishment, how many forces are there? I told you about safety. As you go to encounter such a force, you must also be prepared. You don't lose more people. You must know how many numbers. Do we have a battalion? Do we have a company? You may not know those terms, but those terms are move with the numbers. If I say I have 4 police officers and there's a rebel attack in a certain area, 4 police officers may not respond to a situation. So we need to investigate how many police officers were where this person ran. He could have ran to a police post where there are 2 police officers. Can we risk 2 police officers to go to respond to how many rebels who had come? So, but on overall, according to the reports I've been getting, the operation has been a success. Many of the commanders have been arrested and others put out of action in the due process. I think, let us give it time. They are going to investigate and give a report. Where was the security lapse? We do not want to preempt what is being done. The report will come out and we shall know where could have been the problem.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think the army did a great job to see that they handle the situation, and they have really apprehended many of them. They have put out of action many of them, and I think justice will be done to the parents of these children.
Okay.
Yeah.
We thank the police officers and security forces in general who are trying to find the terrorists and also put the situation back in control. But my question would be now that how trained are the people that are on the gates of those schools, the security guards, even in the buildings like here, how trained are they? Because we don't see them in police uniform, we rather see them in their uniform from their different companies.
Yes.
So I'm just looking for what is the training criteria for these people and how trained should they be?
Private security guards are trained privately by their recruitment companies, but currently police is making an MOU with the private security companies to see that there is merging in training. Training is done by the police to improve on their skills. Many of the schools, for example, they are not using even trained security guards. They have these local guards they get from the villages. They are not using Saracen. They are not using SGA. They are not using these known security companies. They are using their local sourced guards. However, as the police, we are carrying out sensitization in these schools. Security, many of the schools have tended to neglect a few tips which would guard against some of the things. Like fencing. If you go up country, some schools are not fenced. Yet it is a requirement of Ministry of Health that schools must be fenced. But some schools are porous. Someone can enter. Lighting systems. Lighting systems. We have had accidents of lightning arresters. They are not there. We have had, of recent we've not had, but we've had a scenario where students have been struck by lightning. So all these ones, we look at the security guards who are trained, and for us we are there to help some of these schools who call upon us. I've visited several schools, talking to the administration, talking to the pupils, how, because the security tips you've heard about children have gone missing. Your child goes to school. When your child goes to school, that child is given the school. The school takes the safety of that child. So if the school neglects, some stranger will come and pick that child and take away the child. Then they begin asking for ransom. We have had cases of ransom. They even kill. They say, we need 10 million. If you don't give the 10 million, then we are going to kill this child. And they end up even killing. They fulfill what they have threatened to do. So it needs some kind of consciousness that the school takes. Do these children know their homes? A child of P2, can he tell that this is my home, this is our home? Does he know the names of their parents? The telephone contacts in the case a child goes missing. At times we find these children being carried in a van, overloaded. A van of 14 passengers is carrying 30 children. That is putting the lives of the children at risk. There are these trees in compounds. They need to be trimmed. They break, hit the children, hit the building, and cause accident. So the environment must be safer for the child. These days there are threats of homosexuality. We need to have cameras. In the dormitories, is there privacy? There is no need for privacy, more especially for these young children. To curb those threats, we must put our eyes everywhere. And the only eyes we can use is putting CCTV cameras, even in dormitories, so that you can monitor the movement of children from one step to another. Then these children must have identity cards. Not everybody comes to pick your child from school. Schools must have who picks. And if it's not picked, there must be a communication from the known contacts of the parents that I'm not coming personally, but I'm delegating so and so, and you verify, is this the parent who called? Because you find a stranger coming to pick a child. Today so and so comes, the other day the other one, the other day the other one, then the child goes missing in between. You have had those cases.
Yeah.
Children have not reached home. The child went to school, did not return. Who picked the child? So all those scenarios must be looked at so that we secure these children in school, because the schools take responsibility. The moment a child is given to you, you take responsibility to see that the child is safe in that school. Okay. If a child gets issues in that school, then the school will be held responsible.
You mentioned homosexuality, and I just wanted to understand, in case, because they are juveniles, in case this person, a student, is got trying to initiate others in that act, is there a law that by police where they can be taken in?
Yeah. Apart from this bill, which is pending before Parliament, our penal code already had the offenses related with the homosexuality. There are provisions, though they are weak. They are weak a bit. But with the passing of this bill, I think the moment it is put into force, homosexuality will be dealt with using that act once it is passed, assented to by the president. But also the penal code has the unnatural offenses of that nature. We call them unnatural in the penal code, where a man and a man, a woman and a woman, very funny practices. But we need to tell these children that this thing is there. The moment the parents shy, even school shy, then you just hear a child at an adult age saying, "Daddy, here is my boyfriend," when he's bring a boy. But the moment you tell them of the vice, then they can guard against it, because it's within us.
Thank you so much. Let's take a very short break. We are still with the SSP Ssempala in charge community policing, Kampala Metropolitan, and we are still looking at issues of security awareness. We've talked about Kasese, we've moved to the schools, and we are going to move to witness protection and other things when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to Issues at Hand. We are still looking at security awareness in general. It's a Friday, so we have somebody from the Uganda Police Force, and we are talking about different issues of security. We've talked about the Kasese incident, the mass protection, and your protection as a person, because security starts with us as individuals. We've also talked about the security guards at different buildings. Are they trained by police or not? We have seen that police is trying to rectify that issue, as well as other issues in general. Let me start with the witness protection. Of course, I believe SSP Ssempala, you have a lot of cases, very many cases reported each day in police, and some of these cases come with witnesses. What is the witness protection criteria that you have? How sure am I that if I come to, for example, give my, if I come as a witness to prove that somebody is guilty, how protected or innocent at that, how protected am I as a witness? Yeah,
witness protection, we've not had much challenge about witness protection. Many people come and report, and they come with their witnesses. All police goes down and record statements from the witnesses, and these witnesses even come to court and testify. But there are special cases where witnesses are protected, more especially where their lives are threatened. For example, cases to do with the terrorism. These are hardcore criminals who have even people still at large who can avenge on their behalf. So such witnesses, we give them protection. Even court has drawn some regulations on how they can even give their testimony without being disclosed. You know, witness, you are supposed to come in court, they put you in the dock, and you give your testimony of what you saw, what you heard, what you passed. You know, the evidence is generated by the senses of the body. Your eyes, your ears, your touch, your taste. That's how you generate the evidence. I tasted this, it was salty. I saw him raping this girl or murdering this person. People come to court, testify, and there are no repercussions. But there are cases where people testify and their lives are threatened, like terrorism cases. Police has a witness protection unit. They can secure you, put you in our reception area, look after you, feed you.
On the police bill?
Yes, on the police bill. When you are under threat, until you go to court and testify under protection still. Until we feel you are secure enough, you can then be allowed to go back in the society where you came from. So we have that provision, and there are so many people who have been protected that way. Then another protection we have people who give us information, but they don't want to be disclosed, because by nature of the information, if the other criminal he has reported comes to know, he can threaten his life. So such people are protected. You come and record your statement. We do not disclose to the suspect that this person came here. It is Ssempala who came and told us that you are the one terrorizing in this area. That is another form of protection. We do not disclose your identity. Even when it comes to testifying in the court, we use our own police officers who could have gathered other evidence by your information to come and testify in the court. Because for us, we have some kind of protection. We stay in the barracks, they are guarded, unlike a civilian. So some people who give us information, like whistleblowers, they are those ones who give that in such and such an area, there is this crime going on. And these are the suspects. We shall get all your detail. Use it in further investigation to apprehend those criminals, and we shall not disclose you. We protect you. Then the other ones I first talked about of terrorism. You have information. We get your statement. We do everything. You even give evidence in court, but without being known. You are protected. You are off camera. We even put you in our protection reception center. That is the witness protection center. Until the case is finished in court, the person is convicted, then we can safely allow you to exit. Police will look after you for all that period of time. You are helping it to accomplish an investigation or prosecution of that case. So we do not disclose people's identity, especially if you don't want to be disclosed. But others come open and say, you know about this issue. For example, these crimes like assaults. You fight here, I'm there. I'll come and testify. I'll come to court. There is no threat there. So we have two categories. Those high profile cases, we give protection. Those ones who give information and they don't want to be known, we also give them protection. We do not disclose their identity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Of course, I can't have someone from Kampala Metropolitan and fail to ask about criminal gangs. How far with curbing these armed robbers, these people who are terrorizing and making people uncomfortable in communities?
We have intensified our operations. Police, we do community policing, like what I'm doing now. We go to the communities, we educate people what to do, put CCTV cameras, have neighborhood watch, do target hardening before you sleep, check your house. Is there any suspicious person? Sometimes criminals enter our houses during the day, lock them inside. You've heard of cases that the door was not broken, but I found my house open. So before you sleep, we tell people, always inspect your surroundings. Make sure all the doors, all the locks, if a door has more than one lock, they are all locked. And make sure you have security alerts. Some people park their cars outside. It's not in the garage. You find they have removed the number plate, they have removed the side mirrors. So you must have alarms. You must have tracking systems in those cars. It becomes very easy to track a car which has a tracking system than a car which is plain. It has no what. So we've been educating people. Then we have intensified our patrols. We have foot patrols. We have motorized patrol, vehicles moving, have 99 systems in Kampala. We have motorcycles for quick mobility, that if a vehicle delays, then the motorcycle will be there. Then the foot patrollers are there. They can be in all corners in Chikubu, patrolling. So we've tried our best. We've tried our best to eliminate some of these criminals. You remember I had issues on Northern Bypass.
Yeah.
We have deployed, even here Clock Tower, both plain cloth and uniformed personnel. Because when a criminal sees a uniform like the one dressed, they will take off. They will see you from a distance. But if I deployed you the way you are, then they may not know. You go and identify them, pick them, then the informed personnel can come and reinforce you. So we are doing a great job. I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but compared to how Kampala used to be, Kampala is very safe these days. We only need support of the public in terms of doing their part. How do you do your part? Have contacts of the security teams in your area. I don't know whether you have the number of your OC.
I will get it today.
Yes, you need to have it. In case you are attacked, you call Ssempala, who is at CPS, you stay in Maganjo. You stay in Mukono deep there. But if you have the nearby police officer, every police post these days has a police motorcycle, if it doesn't have a vehicle. So if you call your immediate OC, these criminals can be handled, because one of the challenges is response on time. If you respond on time, you can save life. For example, you were talking about Kasese. That response, if we had our structures, formidable structures, nearby, you never know. These guys could even have been got when they are still within the school. But all the same, they were intercepted. And they had to, all the children who were taken were rescued. Because some of the children had been taken away with the rebels. They were rescued. So time of response comes from being informed on time. A citizen having the contact of the security forces. You have the number of fire, in case of emergency of fire. You have the number of the OC, you have the number of the DPC, you have the number of the RPC, and all networks. Then your environment. Some people are living in darkness. You give cover to a criminal to come and enter your house. Put security lights around your home. Have good neighborhood. Know each other. The criminals who hit Chadondo were sleeping in the Namasuba. Came and rented the house. People were, landlords are interested in getting money for rent. But you are getting money for rent from who? We are telling people, when a person comes, get his profile, get his national ID. You are the landlord. You can account for that person. That's why in the anti-homosexuality bill, they were putting liability on the landlord. Should people practice those things in your house, you should be held liable. Should you also, I think we need to do an amendment, host a criminal as your tenant, you must tell us, who is this person? When we are investigating, these guys came, were staying in your house, they were making bombs in your house, they came and killed people. Who are they? Yeah, you know, me, I'm a landlord, I don't know them. That is being careless. We need to be, say, you profile your person. Me, I have no problem being profiled. I will bring my national ID, I'm so and so, I work with the police, this is who I am. In the case of any crime committed by me, then you can help the police in investigation. But if you leave pending there, then we shall be condoning crime. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Our time is fast spent, but I'd like to agree with SSP Ssempala that you shouldn't have a problem being profiled, or you shouldn't have a problem giving your information and identifying who you are, because this helps us in our security, everyday, day-to-day security. And thank you so much for being a part of Issues at Hand. And of course, remember to protect yourself, because you are your first security. You are your neighbor's security. You are your brother's keeper. In case you see something that is not usual, you please report to the forces, as you have heard from the horse's mouth. Of course, police is ready to work with us as a community to keep us safe and for a better Uganda for all of us. For God and my country, thank you so much for watching Issues at Hand. Stay well. Have a good day.